Hey guys, Daniel James here, and today I've been gone for a minute, ain't I? So I wanted to use the opportunity today to make this video and tell you where I've been, what I'm working on right now, and where I'm going in the future. So first off, the things I've been working on previously, some of them still aren't out, so I can't tell you some of the fun ones, but just to fill you in on where I've been this past 6 months or whatever it's, Jesus Christ, it's been a minute. Anyway, first of all, one of the reasons I was away for so long is I was working on Star Trek Picard Season 3. Got a random call out the blue one day from Stephen Barton. He was like, hey, DJ, I'm working on this project. Have you got a minute? And I was like, depends what it is. And he was like, it's Star Trek. And I was like, yeah, I think I've got a minute. I think I got a minute or two for that, Steve. Anyway, Steve called me up and he asked me if I could help him out on his soundtrack to Star Trek Picard. And we did that for a couple of weeks. I forget, may have gone into a month, but I was able to contribute some of my music to his soundtrack. And, like he took what I did and took it to the finish line and whatnot. But that's a huge thing for me to be involved in. I think all of us as musicians strive to work or be a part of franchises that have such a storied musical legacy. I've been fortunate enough in my career thus far to have a few, and Star Trek's got to be right up there at the top. I mean, it's got to be up there with some of the huge ones. But yeah, so that was a huge moment for me, to have the opportunity to work on something so cool. And, it was great. I always love working with Stephen. He's such an amazing composer. Like every time I work with him, I've worked with him on a couple of things now. I always learn something new from him. He's such a talented composer. And I am always in awe when I'm working with these other guys who are just amazing. And, I always just pick up these little bits and hopefully I'm improving, But anyway, so I got to contribute a bit of me to Star Trek, which, give or take that however you want it. But, that was fun for me. But that's one of the reasons I was away. Another one, I was working on Diablo Immortal, which is like the mobile version of the Diablo video game. That I was working on a while back, but I've been keeping up and contributing to the new seasons as they've been coming out. So the way that game works is every few months, like a new season with new content, new gameplay, and new soundtrack comes along. So I've been contributing to that. And again, another massive franchise that I was a huge fan of before I contributed to it, and with a huge musical legacy that is always really, really tricky to be like, okay, I'll come in and do my bit on that now, I suppose. It's always intimidating, but of course you always just settle into it eventually and you do your thing. And, as long as the client's happy and the fans are happy, it's always a fun thing to do. Other than that, I've been working on a few things I can't really talk about right now. In the past few days, and this has been happening over the past few weeks, again, one of the main reasons I haven't been here, I've been fortunate enough to be recording some live orchestra. We were recording in Prague yesterday on some cool project I can't talk about yet. I'm going to be that knob today, by the way. Oh, I can't talk about that because I would be sued into oblivion. Like my NDA says, if you tell people that you worked on this, I'm going to sue you to the ends of the universe. I think they even put to the ends of the universe in the NDAs now. So I'm going to be that guy. But anyway, so we were recording in Prague. I'm going to be recording in Budapest tomorrow and the day after. In fact, I got to get up at 4 a.m. after today. Not that you know what day this is. I don't even know what day it is myself. But tomorrow for me in this existence, I'll be recording in Budapest. Another reason that I was away, and something I almost forgot to mention, so I'm going to edit this bit back into the video, is one of the huge things that happened for me when I was away is I spoke on a panel about Metal Gear. So there was this new convention called MGS Con, Metal Gear Solid Con. And I was speaking on a panel about the music of Metal Gear, which for me, if anybody watching this video knows my history, the entire reason that I'm a composer is because of Metal Gear Solid and the soundtrack, well, specifically the soundtrack by Harry Gregson Williams. Anyway, so I was scheduled to talk on this panel. I got everything prepared and I was ready to talk. And then three or 4 days before the panel started, it transpired that Harry Gregson Williams himself was also going to be on the same panel talking about Metal Gear music. So for me, this was a huge coming full circle moment. The entire reason I'm a composer is Harry Gregson Williams and his music for Metal Gear. And I just recently completed just finished speaking on a panel talking about Metal Gear with Harry Gregson Williams. I'll post a picture of it here. Look at that. Isn't that pleasant? I can't see the picture, but I assume I've got a big shit-eating grin on my face. But anyway, so that was a huge moment for me. And it was sort of like as you'll hear towards the end of this video as I'm talking about it, the past 6 months I've been on a sabbatical, trying to improve my compositional skills. And without the validation, let's say, of people responding to videos and stuff, there wasn't much in my career telling me I'm doing the right thing, but something about sitting on a panel with the guy who sort of made me what I am today, talking about the project which drew me into entertainment in the first place, was like a surreal dream. It was like nano machines had become manifest, and it was like a surreal dream-like state. And I was talking about all the technical things while Ludwig Forsell was in the front row looking at me, judging what I was going to say. But it was an amazing panel. I was on the panel with Justin Burnett, who was the other composer for Metal Gear Solid 5, Harry Gregson Williams, obviously, and Jamie Christopherson, who did Metal Gear Rising, and then two of the singers from Metal Gear Rising. And we were just talking about Metal Gear music. It was amazing because I was finally in my element. Me, I like to talk a lot and I love Metal Gear. So I was just talking about all sorts of shit. I don't even remember what I said. I'm pretty sure I sucked up to Harry a few times, but I couldn't help myself. Like I say, it was like a dream. But anyway, the last video I actually uploaded, I believe, was the Pacific Strings Ensembles, whichever way around it is. And I wrote a track called Port Storm. And so one of the reasons I've been away other than just being busy was, and I did speak about this on my last stream, is that one of the things I realized is a lot of the music that I was being asked to write was very, let's just say, musical and technical in nature. Specifically, like the reason I wanted to talk about the Star Trek and the Diablo ones, the reason I wanted to bring those up as what I've been working on is, if you know the music of them, they're both very musical, right? And what I realized by doing the streams nonstop every week constantly is I was focusing and getting particularly good at composing a style of music which is easy to consume when you'll watch it being written, but isn't necessarily to the max of my capacity as a composer. Like, it wasn't as musical or as technically advanced, let's say, as I can be as a composer. However, that was becoming like my shorthand, because I realized that when I live stream, it's not good for me to just compose in front of people. I have to compose in an entertaining way. And so any of you out there who are also composers will also be aware that when you write music, a lot of it is just writing a line and then spending half an hour perfecting the shape of that specific line, and then that counterpoint, and then the way those two interact, and you can get it sounding more musical by just dedicating time and care to it. It's something Hans Zimmer always used to give me shit for on the forums, if I remember right, that I compose quickly and I don't care, or something like that. But that was never the point. Like, the reason that is when you compose, because you also have to entertain, it's boring for you guys, and it's boring for the people who watch the live streams to watch me sit there and try and figure out these intricate little details, these subtleties, which are what make music more musical, but they're boring as fuck to watch me do, right? Because it's literally just ba-da-da, 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 as an example. Not that that's a great example, but so it would just be me going over and over the same part over and over again until I get it perfect. Whereas when I'm doing a live stream, I like to be big and bombastic, and I use lots of ostinatos and big, impressive sound designs, and, something that's easy to, let's say, snap together or paint by numbers, right? But the projects I was getting on required me to be more musical. So the last video I did before I went away was sort of an indicator of the type of music I was aiming to do more so in the future. And I realized if I was going to do that, I had to dedicate myself to focusing and making that style and approach of composition, making it like muscle memory. Like my subconscious had to be consumed with that style of composition, because when you sit down to write, a lot of it is subconscious. You sit down, you have a feeling, and then you compose. And then the music you write is a reflection of what your subconscious was telling you was appropriate to write, given that feeling you went into the piece with. Now, because I was doing lots of live streams, I realized that the music I was subconsciously gravitating towards was the less musical, but more entertaining to watch being made, bombastic thing. So I had to decide whether I was going to focus on the live streams or I was going to take some time away and focus on me as a composer, trying to learn to get that compositional style of composing, which is a shit way of saying it, but that more intricate style, that more loving, more care, more attention to detail style of composition. I wanted to force that into my subconscious so that when I sit down to write, that's what's coming forward rather than the just big loud sounds and stuff. Because I feel like, given my history and my projects, I've sort of proved to myself already that I can do the big, loud, trailery, bombastic, bomb thing. I can do that. I've proven it to myself, but I hadn't proven to myself that I could do the more musical things. And I was like, you know what? I take that challenge. And so for the past 6 months, I've dedicated to doing that style of writing. And when I do eventually get back to live streams, I want to present some of that style to you guys so that you can see it. So that's the main reason I've been away. As to where I'm going in the future. So at the end of this month, in fact, in a couple of weeks, I'm actually going to be going back to the UK for a couple of months. Going to be doing some stuff over there. I'm not sure yet whether or not the camera's coming with me. So if I am live streaming from there, the production quality is going to be significantly worse than it is right now. But I am at the point now where I'm starting to consider videos and getting back to my, like these kinds of things, because as much as it would be hard to believe, I have actually missed doing these kind of interactive. Well, this video is a bit different because I'm recording this outside of a live stream, but the live stream environments I have always enjoyed. For me, it's like just hanging out with my friends and talking about music stuff. But I am also planning on doing a few, let's call them industry update videos, where I'm going to be talking about the interesting things that are happening in the industry that are relevant to composers, not just for the sake of it. But if something's happening, the new scores that are coming out and how composers are, working and what that new trend is. I want to start talking about those things a bit more. So look forward to that. But in general, I'm coming back from my sabbatical, but it's going to be about 2 more months before I'm back to the high production value, but we may be going into the live streams. Anyway, I wanted to update you guys with this video today, just so that you would know where I've been, and I haven't just been twiddling my thumbs. I've been up to shit. I've been doing shit. Shit's been moving. Shit's been happening, and I've been having a blast doing it. I feel like I've grown as a composer. I feel like I've grown as a human being. I've managed to learn from my betters. I've managed to dedicate time to nuance and subtlety, which for me isn't always a given. And so I hope you guys who are still along the ride with me on this, I appreciate you dropping in and still caring what I'm up to. I'm not, I am coming back, so don't worry about that if that's something you've been worried about. I haven't forgotten about you. I haven't lost interest in doing this. It's just been a moment where I needed to focus for a minute and just focus on the things I needed to do to take the next step to move forward. And that is what I have done. It is what I'm going to continue to do for the next short while, but I will be returning soon to our regular scheduled programming. Is that what they used to say? But anyway, so hopefully you guys are a little bit more content with where I've been. Hopefully you understand. Hopefully you accept, and you'll continue to be along on this ride with me in the upcoming weeks and months and years, and until all of my hair goes gray and falls out. I mean, you can't see it because I have a particularly nice LUT on this camera screen right now, but I'm almost completely gray. It makes it look like I've still got color in my hair. Don't listen to it. It's a lie. But anyway, yeah, I realize that I ramble a lot when I'm recording as opposed to live streaming. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys for thank you guys for watching this video. And I will hopefully see you shortly in the next one.